Okay, everyone. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about the 24-hour clock. So the 24-hour clock, I know I keep my phone on the 24-hour clock. I'm just used to it. But it's basically something that within the healthcare facilities, that's basically the time that you'll see. So, and for, if you know anyone in the army or anything like that, obviously some people refer to it as military time. So it is quite popular. Okay, so let's talk about what we have to do. So first we're going to talk about how to convert from the normal 12-hour clock system that we're kind of used to the 24-hour time system. And then we'll kind of go from there of how to just write them now in terms of words. So a few things we have to talk about. Okay, so first things first, when you're using the 24-hour clock, the first two digits, so if you want to represent the first hour of the day, so the whole point of the 24-hour clock system is that you're notating all 24 hours. So what we're used to is going by a 12-hour system. So we have midnight to noon and then noon to midnight again. So that's where AM and PM kind of takes care of how to indicate, are you talking about the earlier part of the day or the later part of the day? But that is not needed with the 24-hour clock system because again we're using all 24 hours within the day. So if we're talking about the first hour, so when the day first starts and we're leading up to the whole first hour within the day, so after midnight, we indicate 00 as the first two digits because again at that point we're just maybe 58 minutes into the day, so right after midnight. So instead of maybe 12:13 a.m., you'll see 0013 to indicate that we're still in the first hour of the day. We're only 13 minutes in. And then from that point, we write 01, 02, all the way until the ninth hour of the day to represent 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. So again, we're just building by basically what is the hour already within the day. But kind of confusion comes in when we then talk about hours from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. Because again, we're not starting the clock over after noon. We're just going to keep going. So what we do in those cases is we add 12 to represent the hours from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. So again, afternoon, we're used to just going back to 1 p.m., 2 p.m., so on and so forth. But let's say once we hit the 12th hour of the day, so what is our 12 p.m. basically, then we go to the 13th hour, which is 1 p.m., the 14th hour, which is 2 p.m., and so on and so forth. So notice all you're doing is just adding 12, because again, we're not starting over at 12. We're going to keep going. And then, of course, we can write midnight as either 2400 or the 4 zeros. I will say I haven't really come across this. Usually people just indicate it by 0000. So yeah, just in case, because again, at this point we're starting the clock over because we hit midnight. We're now at the new day. So we're entering the 0th minute of the 0th day. Of the 0th hour. So, but again, the book has it, so let's look at some examples then. So for our first example, if we want to write 9 a.m. to the 24-hour time system, the biggest thing is that they don't, usually with the 24-hour clock, you don't see a colon. So little stuff like that we have to keep in mind. So again, we want to remove the colon. And again, we don't want AM anymore because AM and PM is just used to indicate, are you in the morning part of the 12-hour system or the kind of the evening part of the 12-hour system. So remember, what do? We write 09 as the first two digits, and then since it's 9 a.m., there are no minutes. That means we're just in the ninth hour. So then that implies that it becomes 0900. So 0900. Okay, next example. So again, we don't want a colon, and we don't want AM. So if we want to convert 12:19 a.m. to the 24-hour clock system, you have to remember that 12:19 a.m. indicates that we're still within the first hour. So that goes back to having to use 00 to represent the first hour after midnight. So if we are 19 minutes in, that implies we are at the 0th hour, and then here we'll have 19 minutes. So there we can see 0019. So again, no colon and no AM or PM. That's the beauty of the 24-hour clock system, is since you're using all 24 hours, there is no confusion if you don't have, because again, if, for example, for us, if we just see 12:19, no AM or PM, I don't know what you're talking about. You could be talking about in the afternoon or in the morning. So that is where military time comes in to help kind of remove any errors possible. Okay, last example. So if we have 4:28 p.m. and we want to use a 24-hour system, so again, remove the colon and the abbreviation. We don't want this and we don't want this because we're using the 24-hour time system. But again, this is the afternoon. So we're going past the 12th hour. We'll remember, so it's the 12th hour, so that is our 12 p.m. 1 p.m., that's the 13th hour. Remember, all we're doing is adding 12. Well, then 2 p.m., that would be the 14th hour. 3 p.m., the 15th hour. And last but not least, then what would 4 p.m. be? Well, that is the 16th hour of the day. And remember, you can always just add 12, and 12 plus 4 will give you 16. So that means that we'll have 1628 as our final answer. So we're 28 minutes into the 16th hour of the day. And that's it for our first few examples. Now we're just going to indicate how to write them. So how to state them in word format. So say 0 if the first digit is 0, and say 00 if the first two digits are both 0. And then if the minutes are represented by 00, then say 100 after you say the hour. So notice in this case, we have a 0900. So we'll have to say 0 because the first digit is 0. So 0 what? Well, notice that the minutes are represented by 00. So that means that this is 0900. So notice it's basically just reading the words. So here we can see then we have 0900. So again, these little rules you will have to remember if I ask you on the final exam to either state the time. Well, you'll get some questions. So either to just say the time in military time, like how we did in the first examples, or to actually write them out. Okay, so now we can see, and again, these are given in military time. So state the time of 11:39. Well, in this case, notice the first one, there is no 0. We're in the 11th hour of the day, so there are no 00. And then also we actually have some minutes. So in this case, we would just write it how we would write it normally. So it would be, let's see, 11:39. So that part is no different. It's just really when these zeros come into play. And last but not least, for the third example, so notice this is where our second rule comes in. We have 00, so think about what time this is talking about. We're in the first hour of the day, so this is just after midnight. So we have to say 00, because notice, again, we're in the first hour of the day. We haven't yet accomplished the first hour. We're still within it. And in this case, we don't have to worry about the third rule. We're just in 00, and now you state the amount of minutes. So 0023. And there is our final answer. And that is it for time. We'll have one more video for the next chapter, and that will be it for this week.